John McCain tell it when it comes to earmarks, those pet projects funded by federal legislation. He is a modern-day Vincent van Gogh. In our third story tonight, his opposition to earmarks, the foundation, one might even say, of a fundamental of his campaign. Well, it turns out those fundamentals are not too sound either, nor too true. McCain's image as an earmark virgin forms the basis for two pillars of his campaign. One, that he can restore America's economy by eliminating earmark spending, and two, that his ability to reform Washington ways has been proven by his refusal ever to pursue or accept funding for Arizona projects through earmarks. We already know that he chose a running mate who not only increased her town's pursuit of earmarks, she was the first mayor there to hire somebody, a lobbyist for the job, and continued in that vein as governor, seeking $2 million for research on the productivity of crabs, and of course saying thanks, hell yes, to that bridge to nowhere earmark money. Of course, the primary tool Senator McCain has had to fight earmarks in Congress has been to vote against the budgets in which those earmarks reside, a point Senator Obama seized upon today.
When it comes to reforming government waste and spending, Senator McCain talks a lot about earmarks, and here's an area where he does deserve credit. He hasn't requested many of those earmarks during his time in Congress. What he doesn't mention is he's voted for $144 billion worth in just 6 years, or that he's voted for 4 out of the 5 Bush budgets that have been filled with special interest giveaways and left us with the largest deficit in history. The truth is, our earmark system, what's called pork barrel spending, in Washington is fraught with abuse. It badly needs reform, which is why I didn't request a single earmark last year, why I've released all my previous requests for the public to see, why I've pledged to slash earmarks by more than half when I'm president.
Why not pledge to slash all earmarks? Well, some earmarks are good, and in any case, it depends on how you define earmarks. To Senator McCain, an earmark is anything he does not do. Namely, he maintains that an earmark is not just pork barrel spending on hometown projects, but it has to be done secretly, and it doesn't count if the funding appears in its own bill, which would explain the 2005 Senate Bill 2136, co-sponsored by McCain, quote, to provide funds, $2 million actually, to help establish the William H. Rehnquist Center on Constitutional Structures and Judicial Independence at the University of, golly, Arizona. Taxpayers for common sense called that, quote, an earmark in training. McCain also claims it does not count if it's not legislation, which would explain why, even after Congress rejected $5 million for an Arizona wastewater facility, McCain went around Congress asking the EPA to, quote, either reprogram $5 million out of existing funds or earmark the amount from an appropriate account. Earmark? The verb? None of those qualifiers, making room for McCain's outing by fellow senators in February 2000, listing McCain's earmarks, including $4.6 million for the Turquoise Trail in Arizona, $9 million for a national mediation center in Arizona, and $56 million for flood control and habitat restoration on the Salt River in Arizona. Just some of the earmarks McCain did not cut off, we know, to spite either of his faces.